Hey, all right, I'm back. And I'm inside of Xactimate again right now, and I have my sketch on the screen. I'm gonna roll through this pretty quickly, so I really ask that you pay attention here because things are gonna move pretty fast. And I'm gonna show you an awesome trick while I go through it. Something that has also not only just saved me a ton of time, but actually has directly made me money. It's increased my estimates and it's reduced the amount of time that I spend on the phone talking to inside adjusters, even talking to contractors, public adjusters, and everything like that, because I just generally put together a better estimate than the norm. This trick right here, this will get you a step above all the other adjusters that are out there. It's going to make your estimates stand out from the crowd, guaranteed. And you're going to build that brand in a way where people respect you because of the way that you can put your estimates together. Now check this out. I've got my sketch right here. Now, if I jump over to estimate items, this looks pretty standard, right? Your sketch number one, main level, and I've got all my rooms right there. Now, watch what I'm about to do here. I'm going to jump over to Sketch. Now, you're probably well aware of macros and the power that macros bring. Well, I'd like to take my macro to a whole different level. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to Control X. I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to jump over to Project. I'm going to go to Copy from Project. And in the drop-down list right here, I'm going to select my six-figure macro. All right, I double click that. Now I'm only going to want to select scope right there, and I'm going to click copy, and then bam, here goes a brand new sketch. I'm going to jump over here. All right, I tell you what, I'm going to just jump over to estimate items and show you exactly what we got. Look at this grouping tree I got together already. Look at the structure that I just put together on my estimate with just a couple clicks. I have coverage A dwelling. I have my exterior, my roof, my front elevation, right elevation, rear elevation, left elevation, my second level, first level, basement. I have a folder for my debris removal. I have my coverage B, other structures. All right, I have a storage shed. I have the roof for the storage shed at the exterior. I have the interior of the storage shed. I have an additional debris removal specific for my coverage B line items, and then I have a whole new folder for my coverage C personal property. Now, that's all fine and good, but the real secret sauce to this macro is the line items, the folders actually down here. I have a roof folder, an elevations and exterior folder. I have a living area bedroom folder, which is, you know, your general living areas that typically the dry rooms or the rooms that don't have plumbing in them. And then I have the rooms that do, my kitchen, laundry, and bathroom. Now, within each of these folders, I have line items that are structured and organized. All right, look at my roof folder real quick. I got sheathing and general framing, my underlayment line items, my ventilation line items, my flashing line items, roof covering line items, additional charges like steep charges, high charges. Look at my elevations folder. I've got fascia soffit gutters. I got doors and windows. I've got sheathing, underlayment in general, and insulation. All right, elevation coverings, all my sidings and vinyl siding, fiber cement, all that sort of stuff. Now, I don't have every material that's listed in Xactimate because that would just be an inefficient way for me to go about my business. But I've tailored it in a way with the most common materials first. All right, now my general living areas, my bedrooms, I've got that divided from ceilings and walls, my floor coverings, all right, my doors and windows, all right. I'm naming them before I even get there because it's so ingrained in my head. My plumbing, electrical, my HVAC, all right. I have another folder here for my kitchen and all that. Now, the kitchen is very similar, all right. Certain things are removed, like carpeting you won't find in the flooring section of this folder. Some small nuances there, but I have a vanity and cabinet area. I have a appliances category. I have a slightly different plumbing, electrical, and HVAC, right? So I have all these line items here. Now, the glory behind all of this is that once you organize your line items in this specific way, your organized line item entry creates an organized thought process in your head, even when you're outside in the field. When I'm doing my inspections now, I'm constantly going through the structure of my macro in my head. I know every line item that goes in there, so I'm keeping an eye out for all of those line items as I'm going through. When I'm taking my photographs, I'm looking at my ceilings and walls first. Then I know to move to the floor covering. Then I know to move to the doors and windows. Then I know to move to the cabinets, to the appliances. right? You see where I'm going with this? It's an organized method of thinking that mitigates any possibility for error. And if there's one thing that as an adjuster you are not paid for, that is your own errors. Now check this out right at the bottom here. Now, if you're following us at Adjusting to Six Figures and you're working with multiple companies at the same time, then you know the best way to hit that six-figure mark, to go well beyond six figures and really start cashing in, is not to settle with just one independent adjusting company with just one client. You want to diversify. You want multiple different clients, multiple different streams of revenue coming in. But here's the catch. The more companies that you have paying you, that's more sets of rules that you need to adhere to. And if you don't take that seriously, if you don't take the demands of your client seriously, you're going to be replaced by somebody else. That person might even just be me. Now, what we have at the bottom of this macro is a final checklist. Now, what's great about this is that we can leave notes in here for yourself. All right. Now, this macro itself, you could duplicate it. You can have multiple of these same macros in there. For instance, if you have one client that's okay with you putting 2 coats of paint on the wall, but you have another client that would prefer you only did 1 coat of paint on the wall, you create 2 separate macros and you tweak that so you never get caught putting the wrong amount of paint on a wall. But then you have all those little tiny weird things, like one particular client might not want O&P to be applied on roofing, for instance, and you really don't want a kickback. So what you would do, don't apply O&P, all right, on RFG, on your roof. I have a particular client that doesn't like O&P applied on about 6 different trades. They're very generous on you putting O&P in the estimate as long as it's not on these 6 trades. And I want to get every last penny out of every estimate that I do. So I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to make sure that I'm taking that O&P off. And I'm going to make sure that once I send that bad boy up, it does not come back to me because I hit every single necessary rule that their client has. So we put everything in here. Now check this out. I'm going to jump back over to Sketch right here. I'm going to show you what this looks like once I put it all together. I'm going to get rid of this stuff. Boom, boom, boom. All right. There's our sketch right there. Okay, I'm going to get rid of our second level because that doesn't apply. I'm going to get rid of our exterior because that doesn't apply, and as with the basement. Now this is coverage A on this policy. There is no damage to any other structure, so I'm going to get rid of that. I jump back over to my estimate line items. I don't need these elevations. I don't need these folders, which are really just remnants of that coverage B. I get rid of them. Now look at that. Now we have coverage A dwelling, first level. We have all of our rooms right there. These rooms aren't in order, so they're a little bit weird. I won't waste your time by putting them in order right now. And then we also have our debris removal folder. Debris removal folder already has our debris removal line items built in there, so it's great. Now, before I get to a very fast-forwarded demonstration of me actually putting the line items in and showing you exactly how quick you can be putting these line items in your estimate, I just want to reinforce something real quick. While these line items are in this macro, what is fantastic is that as you go through line by line, you're looking at every line item that is in there and you're thinking to yourself, does this apply? Does this apply to the estimate? The sad thing and the sad reality of independent adjusters right now is that many of us don't use macros. What we do, we put a room in Sketch, we jump over here to the search, and we start thinking of the line items that we need to use. And if we're dealing in a large loss or we're dealing in a room that may have 30, 40, 50, even sometimes over 100 line items in there, it's very hard to explain to somebody and convince them that you're just naturally able to remember all of those line items. And if you are doing that, you are lying to yourself. Why bother leaving that error for possibility there that is only going to hurt you in the end? It's only going to result in a contractor coming out with a greater estimate than yours. It's only going to result in the possibility of a file reviewer kicking something back to you or somebody in the carrier side kicking something back to you. Why are you doing it to yourself? You're not paid to handle rejections. You're paid to close claims. This macro right here gets you to close those claims. What's great about it is that this macro is filled with pre-written notes as well. If you are replacing a cabinet, for instance, you're only replacing part of the cabinet. Many adjusters just replace that one part and assume that the rest of the cabinets are okay. All right. Now, granted, not every carrier is going to allow you to replace all of the cabinets. However, typically you can go for refacing. Many adjusters don't because they're not thinking of that particular line item. And if they are, sometimes there is a possibility that the insurance carrier might not understand why you're refacing cabinets. That's why we already have a note built in that explains that we're refacing all of the remaining cabinets to maintain a reasonably uniform appearance. These notes are scattered throughout this entire estimate. When you submit an estimate using the six-figure macro, your file reviewer, your claims manager, his or her supervisor, the client, the insurance company is going to look at your estimate. They're going to look at the dividers that you used. They're going to look at the methodical order that you put your line items in. They're going to look at all the different notes that you included for all these line items in there. And they're going to think, gosh, this is the most well put together estimate. I know it's going to happen because it happens to me every couple weeks. This will be an estimate that sets you apart. If you're an adjuster and you're less than a year into it, maybe you're a couple months, maybe you're a year or two. If your estimates don't look like this, I'm going to show you what this estimate's going to look like in the end. If your estimates don't look like this is what's going to set you apart from the adjusters that have been doing it for years. Because I can tell you something with absolute confidence. The adjusters that are ahead of you, the adjusters that are taking the lion's share of claims that are in your territory right now, the adjusters that are getting that phone call for the storm before you, many of those adjusters, those old school veteran adjusters, are not using this. They are not using a macro. They've lost the eye for a well-written estimate. And what is even better about this is that this estimate, once it's put together the right way, once it gets into the hands of an insured, they're going to be able to read it in a way that is understandable. It's not going to be what I like to call line item vomit. Just several different line items placed in a room in no particular order that leaves a homeowner and insured to sit there and look it over and hope that they're not getting screwed. And if you're an adjuster and you've been doing this for a while, you know that homeowners constantly are thinking that the insurance company is out to screw them. And if you give them an opportunity to be confused over your estimate, guaranteed they're going to start to think that you're screwing them over. And if you're not using this six-figure macro, there's a possibility that you are indirectly screwing them over because you are not giving them the money that they need to make the repairs because you left it up to your own brain to remember dozens and dozens, hundreds throughout an entire estimate, hundreds of line items needed to put together a well-formed estimate. Now, I'm going to jump back over to Sketch and I'm going to put a clock on the screen. Now I'm going to start to put together my estimate. We're going to see what it comes out to, and I'm going to show you exactly what the total loss amount will be for this one, and I'm going to even share with you what I'm going to get paid for it too. Here we go. And here we are. Still got it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we just finished that in at just under 10 minutes, just shy of 10 minutes, and right here, our total loss RCV amount, just a smidget over 14,000, even added the depreciation in there. All right, ACV at 11,000. All right, listen, let me open this up so everybody can take a look at it. What kind of baffles me is that there are people out there, there's people sitting down in their homes right now waiting for that phone call, waiting for cat season, waiting for that hailstorm, waiting for that hurricane, right? So they can get out there and start replacing some roofs. They're not messing around with daily claims. You know, people have grown this stigma towards daily claims as if daily claims don't pay that well. Well, check this out. First of all, before I even get in the money part of it, look at this estimate right here. We're starting in our origin of loss right here, bedroom 2, ceilings and walls. All of our line items related to ceilings and walls are right here. All of our line items related to the floor covering are right here. Doors and windows are right here. Everything is put together. And really when you look at each individual line item, line by line, they're put together methodically. The remove is first. The replace is second. All right, preparation is on top before anything else, just like it would be if you were actually physically in that house and performing those repairs yourself. Okay, look at this. This is all put together. A claims manager is going to look at this and say, wow, why? How are you spending that much time? You have all these little notes there and whatnot. You must not have any claims with anybody else. We must be your only client. We got to give you more claims. All right. That is the magic behind this six-figure macro. And look at this. People are sitting at home waiting for a hailstorm. Meanwhile, guys like me are getting out there, running these daily claims and stumbling on these inspections that are going to give you $14,000. This is just another day, ladies and gentlemen. $14,000 right here. Okay. Now, right here, a full disclosure. Let me just cut this. I don't know if we'll be able to show this. I don't know if this will come out. All right, right there. That is an assessment packet of ours. All right. If you don't know what an assessment packet is, jump over to the Adjuster Shop, adjuster-shop.com. Check out the Field Adjusters assessment packet for Xactimate. Right there, $14,000. That's going to land at that $350 mark. I'm going to get paid. I've got $50 in mileage coming my way, plus I got $25 and $25 for photos. So that's going to get me, what is that? $425. That estimate took me less than 10 minutes to put together, thanks to the macro. That macro also structured my entire estimate in a way that is going to impress the pants off any of my clients. All right, that is the magic of the six-figure macro. Either you're using a macro like this, or you're doing what I like to call line item vomit, and you will be beaten 10 times out of 10 by an adjuster like me who has a macro like this. Now, full disclosure, you could put together a macro just like this. There's nothing stopping you from putting together your own estimate, and copying it from Project and putting it in there. But let me spoil something for you. I've been working on this for a very, very long time. I have put these line items together. I've been tweaking it, making these little tiny changes. And let me tell you, I have invested easily over 100 hours of my time into this macro. All right, if you're an active adjuster, I want you to ask yourself, how valuable is your time? Do you have 100 hours to get yourself to this level? If you've got 100 hours to burn, then by all means put it together. If you are moving and you are closing claims and you want to give yourself that edge, you want to look better in front of your clients, you want to take the lion's share of your territory, you want to be number one on speed dial when that storm hits, because your clients trust that you will put together an estimate that is like nobody else's, then you need to just stop playing games. Get yourself the six-figure macro, get yourself to that next level, and start making money the six-figure way. Thanks.